we go. Uh, this this little brief talk is called DM ruling tools, and this D&D group, of course, is focused on playing the entire game as written. And because of that, unlike other groups, we do not incorporate what's considered to be quote unquote house rules. I would like to share with those dungeon masters watching our Twitch stream a few pointers to ensure that they understand why I do certain things and what they're for and how best to take advantage and utilize all those available assets during your sessions, specifically for the purpose of making sound decisions when it's up to you to make a decision and make a call one way or the other. So here we go. These are what I call quote unquote standard DM responses. You've all probably heard me use them at one point or another, and they may be used in this way. Uh, there's Number one is when a player asks for information that you are unable to give out at that particular point in time, or the information would not be known to the player for a number of reasons. This is the answer I always give. I shrug my shoulders and I say, oh, everybody understands that universal body language and guttural noise. It's just a nice way to say, I'm sorry, I can't really tell you at this time. No need to elaborate. That's all they say. Oh. So number two is book and page number. You'll hear me say that a lot. Um, that's why in our DM player notes handout, we encourage players to have the exact same book so that everyone's is literally on the same page. All of these, you can get them online in PDF format. Some of them are even available free. All you got to do is Google it. You can find them. Not a problem. You can pay for them too. But there's a bunch of websites so you can get them from. Wizards got them. And they're just a couple bucks. It's a good investment, get the PDF, get the player's handbook and so on and so forth. Folks just don't have the time to generally look here and look there for the same answer. It just makes things in your game move a lot smoother. Number three, the DM session log. I usually ask for the number and the location. Just tell me which DM session log that I post after every game, which number, because like I said, every one of these sessions has a number. I gave you the number of this one. Tell me which number and tell me where in the log, and I'll be happy to look it up. The other response I give is four. Tell me the Twitch stream number and location. The Twitch stream you're watching now, when it's posted, will have the identical number as the DM session log that you'll find in Roll20. Also, if what was said, find it and show me is basically what that's for. And five, the state of the present conditions. If the player says things are this way, but the position of the tokens or the conditions say otherwise, they have no standing. And attempting to fool themselves, others, in the DM is just ridiculous. So if somebody tells you it's daytime, it's pitch black at night, what do they hope to achieve? That somehow you're going to agree with them despite the preponderance of evidence to the contrary. There's absolutely no point to that argument. These standard responses are nothing more than a filtering mechanism to point the player to the resources that are available to him that I just mentioned, so that they may or may not substantiate their claim with the required physical evidence that you need as a dungeon master to make a decision. Without it, it's all just a needless waste of time. And that's one of your responsibilities as a DM, to realize that D&D does take time to properly execute, and time wasters will be a source of counterproductivity and should be removed as quickly as possible as soon as they make themselves known. So you players watching this stream, take my advice. Don't try to BS your DM. Don't try to pull the wool over his eyes. Don't try to force his hand or make a last-ditch effort to cover your tracks regarding a poor decision, because that's just, number one, it's insulting, and it'll never happen, and it's a surefire way to get yourself kicked out from the group. So because if your DM engages in the types of record keeping activity that we just discussed here, he will have a solid first-hand knowledge of everything the party did and everything the party said, especially after typing up the DM session log and previewing the prior session stream. So a player that continually engages in this type of behavior will very quickly find themselves on the DM's potential problem player list, which is a part of the DM's radar that a player ought not voluntarily place themselves. Bad idea. The best course of action, of course, is to realize a mistake's been made, accept the facts are what they are, and move on. The DM will not typically retroactively change the present condition of things to suit a player's request. Life doesn't work that way, so why should D&D when it mimics real life. And just a couple quick points. If a player has the facts, then they should easily be able to make their case. If they can't, then they should quickly learn to no longer interrupt the DM and waste precious game time with wild goose chases that have no standing and cannot be verified with physical evidence. So if you do
Um, what do you? I'd like to. Sorry to interrupt, but I'd like to ask a question regarding what you're saying.
yeah,
What
fire
do
away.
you do when you run off the end of the rules as written? 2E is a ruling system, not a rule as written system. And many of the rules were written open to interpretation.
Uh, well, when you cross that bridge, just bring it up. The dungeon master will typically, if he can't find it, fast enough, and time is being wasted thumbing through books. I've got the software, so I can do a quick word search through all of the books simultaneously, which helps to speed things up. But unfortunately, the realization is if you can't find it fast enough, it's slowing the game down, and you can always look it up later, and just let everybody know, like we are talking right now, on what you found, and then you can implement it in the next session. But for the time being, if you have to make a decision right away, make something up. If everybody agrees to it, just to move the game along, then that's fine for what you're doing. Obviously, it is a player's guide or a dungeon master's guide. It's not, hard and fast rules and all that. But like I said, we do try to implement them as they're written, without trying to get like too creative, because if you do inadvertently allow something into the game that cannot be verified afterwards, do not, as a DM, do not hesitate to make clear that you made a mistake and quickly remove it from the game, no longer allowing it to be utilized. Otherwise, what the bottom line is, you risk upsetting the delicate balance of the campaign with unplanned house rules that are usually not a good idea. So, anyways, next week I'll move on to a different topic. I think I've beat this one to death, but I hope that you'll go back and review these little tidbits of information that I put in the beginnings of these sessions. Uh, they're of interest, and it should help you.